Your chance to win tickets all this week.
Kiwi.
Time now is 8:41 here on Kiwi.
The Radio Wammo Breakfast.
Kiwi.
Joining us now for the ad slot, it's Simon Pound, the advertising feature slot here on Kiwi. Simon Pound, stuck in traffic at Auckland City. G'day there, Simon.
I'm very well, thank you, Wammo. How are you, good sir?
Very, very well. But there's been a bit of annoyance on the internet this week about a new advertising campaign from, it looks like, Burger King.
Yeah, there's been some chatter, some angry chatter about the way that the Burger King advertisements have been popping up on, say, interweb, taking over the screen and kind of coming in that almost like a rip, and then through that rip peeks the face of the Burger King king.
So on like the Herald and stuff, so coming in over the text of the news.
Yes, which they must pay handsomely for, and it probably annoys more people than it connects with, unless you happen to love the king. And I guess that's what they're hoping, because the king is pretty close to loving the king.
Well, this version of the king I've never seen before.
Since 2004 in America, they've been using the king as, like, the king comes from, in the 80s, in the 70s rather, they had the king as this kind of cartoonish character that did all this stuff with his plastic head, and it was done in seriousness. It really was their mascot, much like Ronald McDonald was the McDonald's mascot.
Yeah.
But then, as kind of irony has taken over the world, and all the rest of it, it fell out of favour in the 80s, and then in 2004, the Burger King in America brought back this cartoonish, crazy figure. And since 2004, they've done this series of spots that have made him out to be this incredibly awkward, slightly creepy figure.
Yeah.
And with this plastic head and this kind of larger-than-mouth persona. And they've done all these spots where, people have woken up and he's just been sitting in the bed beside them, leaning over, staring at them. And obviously quite creepy and unusual. And so they've repositioned this old mascot and just totally brought it back as this playboy, crazy prankster figure. And this has been tremendously successful in the States. And so what they're doing now is they're bringing the king over to New Zealand. And I don't know if you've seen the ad, but if you go to www.thekingiscoming.co.nz, they have up there the advertisement of the news hitting the king that in New Zealand the Whopper is only the number 3 burger. And he is sad and angry and then goes through the airport in order to try and come back here.
Right.
And it's a really huge production value advertisement. I really like it. I think the tone is really awesome. And yeah, it shows that they're about to bring this really cool, awkward, quite amazing brand figure to New Zealand.
And obviously, it's going to cover all TV, newspapers, the radio, and obviously the internet as well, where it's starting. So we're going to see it over all those platforms. But it does raise the question, particularly on the internet, how much that the media companies let in the advertising over the top of their content.
Well, it does come down to what they figure their relationship with their customers is. And if they think that their readers are going to handle it, then they'll probably sell whatever they can until their readers start deserting them. They're just desperate for the revenue, aren't they, on those online sites?
Yeah.
But you have to wonder at what point it stops being good for them and starts actually alienating viewers. But yeah, I would recommend, though, going and checking out the King is Back ad. I really like the tone. I think it's very funny. At the end of it, they have actually, they're so cheeky that at the end of it, they have a scene where the king jumps over, he breaks through security, he can't get through because of all the metallic items he has, and they ask him to remove his crown, and that's just the last step. So he runs off away from them and then jumps a barricade as if doing some kind of like amazing hurdling move to the side. And then the security guards try to chase him, but they can't catch him because they can't jump over this barricade because they're too fat.
Right, which was bizarre, really, isn't it? Because the whole fast food thing.
it's pretty brave for a fast food company to make a fat joke in one of their commercials, and that is how brave this advertising campaign is.
Now, has the king been handed over to local advertising agencies to take care of, or has this been driven from the
As far as I understand, Calento are bringing it over, but I do know that this the kind of attitude and characters that they've given the king has come from overseas.
Right.
But how they bring it into the local context, I don't know. But I'd be pretty sure that they'd be doing some pretty local things, because you can't just take an international idea and just plant it straight into the country and have it accepted.
Well, he looks like he'd be a funny character, but I think he walks the line between perhaps scaring small children as well. I think.
Well, they're very funny. Like the Americans they've done all of these ads playing on his inability to understand personal space.
Yeah.
Which I just think is really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, have we got time to talk about the Leo Laporte thing as well?
Yes, we do. Yes.
The Old Spice thing. Yeah, just quickly. Another interesting thing this week is that last week or the week before, in the wake of the Super Bowl, probably the most popular ad for every man and his dog and its horse was that Old Spice ad was the hyper-masculine former linebacker or wide receiver or something, a man named Isaiah Mustafa, who had the Old Spice body wash and said that I'm the man your man could smell like. Leo Laporte, who I understand is someone that you're a big fan of, Wammo.
Yeah.
He tracked down the creatives behind that ad and did a really interesting making-of interview with them about the ad. If you remember it, it has the shot of the man in the shower, and the shower's running, and then the shower kind of lifts above his head, and a jumper drops on his neck, and it turns out to be on a boat. And then he walks across, and in his hand is a clam that has tickets, and then diamonds, and then a body wash emerges from the diamonds, and then he walks along and jumps on a horse, and the ad ends with him saying, I'm on a horse.
Now, it's a funny ad. It was as we were talking about it the other week, and we played it, and you can go back through the ad feature archive and see that. What did Leo Laporte actually find out? I mean, how much of it was fake?
Well, the trick was that all of that ad, the whole thing, I'm just going to give it away in one hit here, the whole thing except the diamonds and the body wash coming out of it was real.
Wow. So
what they did is it was all done in one shot, which isn't perhaps the first thing you notice sometimes because you're so enjoying the funny writing and the nice little line and the kind of cheekiness of it.
Yeah.
But it was all done in one shot, and they actually built a set on the beach to look like a boat, built the shower, and then also had some kind of a little crane thing that carried him across to the horse. And then they just got rid of that crane in post.
So there were, so he was tethered. He did have some lines or some cables coming off him.
He was put on it was apparently a little like craney thing that kind of moved him across.
Wow.
Yeah, so very cool and actually real. And the diamonds, they actually filmed that and then comped it in. So it was CGI, but they actually did it for real as well.
Fascinating. And we've got time just for a little bit here for you to talk about your visit to Magnus Benroe. What's that?
Yeah, well, anyone who listens to much radio in Auckland would have heard John and Adrian from Magnus Benroe, who are true icons of the local airwaves. For the ad show, I went along and met them to talk to them about their unique brand of connecting with people, really.
Well, Magnus Benroe, is that the mattress? Are they beds or something? What?
Magnus Benroe is the appliance store.
Oh.
They've got 3 of them. One of them is in Great South Road.
Yeah, I try not to listen to ads, but yeah.
It's like, hi, it's John and Adrian from Magnus Benroe.
Right.
John.
Those are the ones that I go click. Yeah, but anyway, yes, go on.
Wonderful ads.
Yeah.
It turns out that John's the owner and Adrian's been working there for like 30 years.
Yeah.
On the ads, they play this kind of like, they've got their but they're incredibly sharp people. It's really them. It's not voiceover artists or anything.
Right.
They do it for a bit of fun, but it works remarkably for them. So next time you think you're kind of annoyed by an ad on the radio, it's probably by annoying your brain. It's climbing in there and settling in for the long run.
Yeah, exactly. And it's working, obviously.
working remarkably for them.
And Simon, the ad show is underway. Show number 2 was filmed last night and it'll go to air tonight.
Yes, absolutely. TVNZ 7 at 9:35, and you can catch it online as well tomorrow.
No shortage of content yet?
Nah, it's cool, man. Like, there's so many topics out there.
Yeah.
We're hoping in our 15-week run that we'll be able to get around and cover a lot of different topics. So not every show is going to have every facet of advertising stuffed into it, but hopefully along the whole run we'll manage to get around the place a bit.
And what's going to be interesting over the next few weeks is whether or not the New Zealand Atheist Bus Campaign is going to be able to get their ads onto buses. We may be covering that, I suppose, in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, I'm really interested in that. We have to be, because we repeat a number of times during the week, we don't want to get too current eventsy if the 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock shows might cover it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a good story to be told there, as there is Christian advertising on some buses.
Yes.
So you'd have to wonder, in our fair world,